Hi, Amy. This is Leslie. I wanted to go over some of the items on your Project 3G assignment. And I know that the grading engine can be very specific because, obviously it's a program that is grading your work versus a human. But I think I can work through the items on your list and just point out a couple things, and then you can certainly resubmit, make corrections and then resubmit your assignment. Okay, so I'm in the research document, and first of all, good job on the newsletter. You had obviously everything was correct and on that page, so good job on that. So now I'm on the second page of the document. The first thing that I notice is when you're inserting a citation, you want the citation to come before the period. So in the instructions it says click to the left of the period and then using the MLA format and insert a citation. So what you want to do, you can just fix that by moving the period, but you just want to make sure that the period is after the citation. Okay, so that's the first thing, and this is your document, by the way, just to let you know that. Okay, and then the next thing, let's go to the footnote. So it says the instructions are modify the footnote text style to set the font size to 11 and first line indent and double spacing. So one thing that I did want to point out before we make the correction on here, the keyword in this instruction is modify the footnote text style versus just the footnote. So but I did want to point out, if you did need to modify just the footnote, I came almost to the footnote number here. Notice that it's still a 10 as far as font size. If I move over just a little bit, it goes to the 11. So when you're modifying a footnote, the size, you can actually select that footnote number as well as everything else. So if I selected the entire thing, I would change it all to 11, and that way, and it doesn't, you would think that the number would do something strange, but it doesn't. And now if I kind of go over here, it is 11. So just FYI. But in this case, the keyword in this instruction piece is the style. So if you go to your book, Activity 3.04 is modifying a footnote style. So they say that, point to anywhere in the footnote text. You just typed right click and then on the shortcut menu click style. So sometimes it's a matter of picking out sort of those keywords, and certainly using your book if needed when you're if you're kind of stuck on something. These projects mirror what you're doing in the book. Okay, so let's go back here to your document. So I have my insertion point is somewhere in the footnote. If I right click on the insertion point, I can go to style, and then you would do the modifications from there. So you would do the 11 point and the footnote paragraph that you have the first line indent and that type of thing. So you can certainly use the your book. Again, it's the Activity 3.04 to go in here and then just kind of review the how to modify that style. Okay, so then you'll go through, make the modifications, and you'll save the style and apply it, and then that will take care of that information. Okay, all right, next on our list is the works cited. So let's first go to references and then manage sources. So you have both of the sources in here, and I think what happened was you were making changes to your document, trying to make corrections, and it changed the items in the current list, but they are different from the master list, and the couple of changes that you made like you have an S in here instead of, it shouldn't be there. And this one, you changed it to a document for a website versus the other. So let's go ahead and look at it. So if I click on current list and I click on edit, this is a book, which is correct, but notice there's you added an S in here, which is, you know, just one of those things. It doesn't like that S in there, so we need to take that out. Okay, so the other thing is, let's go edit on this one. Notice the type of source is document from website. Now you have everything else correct, but that grading engine, once it sees this, it won't go past that to look at the most of the other information. So with this not being correct, that's kind of where it gets a little funny. So let's go back over here to look at, this is the master list. Okay, so if we click on edit, excuse me, it's a book, there's no S. Okay, everything looks good. So I think what we'll do is, let's just copy this from the master back over to here. So if we click on copy, it will say that this item, you know, exists on both sides basically, and do you want to overwrite the source over here? So we're going to click on yes. Okay, so now if we come back over here and click on edit, you'll notice that the record, the S is gone, everything else looks good, and there's that little tag name. It gives it this tag name, and that's how it's referring to each. Okay, so let's take a look at our master list here, and then we'll click on edit. Notice this says website versus document of a website. So this is the correct one. Okay, everything else looks good. So we can click on cancel or OK. Let's do the same thing where we click on copy, and then we want to overwrite it. Okay, and then just to make sure, we'll go over here, our current list, so this is what the document is using. We'll click on edit, and it's been changed to website. So I think also sometimes if you're running up against something, sometimes it's even good to just kind of like erase a citation and then start over and see if that helps as well, rather than making just changes in your document. Okay, so the last thing we need to do, notice that the S is here, and this really, the title of this should look more like this one. So what I want to do is click somewhere in my Works Cited, and I need to say update citations and bibliography, because we changed the current list, but we need to let the document know that we made those changes. So when I click on update citations and bibliography, you can see now the S is gone, and then the title looks like this. So we've updated that. Okay, so I think that that's about it. So it's just these three areas, the footnote and then the two citations that had just small items, but they were enough to cause the grading engine to, you know, take off points. So again, we want to make those changes to the two citations. The footnote, we want to format the style of the footnote versus just the footnote here in our document. And I think that's it. So what I will do is I will go ahead and delete the first your first submission. I'll go ahead and delete that, and then you can submit your document again once you've made the corrections. And certainly let me know if anything, you know, comes up with that. I'd be happy to, you know, take another look at it. So I hope that this information has been helpful to you. Definitely let me know if you have questions. You know, I'd be more than happy to help out. Okay, so I think that's it for now. Alrighty, take care.